Good morning, beautiful ladies. First time something. Hold on. I will find our thing in just a second. And then I'll be able to see your comments. Oh,
I knew that was gonna happen.
I found it. And I muted it. Okay, we're in action. First time I make it on for live. So welcome, Carmen. Thank you for getting on. We appreciate you.
First time. We haven't been on in a couple weeks, so I'm glad that you were able to join us today.
Life has been crazy.
Yeah.
It's been hectic for sure.
She said she's ready to cross post, by the way. I
Oh.
don't know if you caught it.
I didn't. Thank you.
We got a lot going on here at the office. It's been so long since we've done a live that we thought we would just kind of catch everybody back up on where we're at. And then if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comments. We do have a lot going on today, so I don't think we're going to be on for super long, but we did want to check in because you guys have told us that you missed us. Everybody's also been asking where Nikki's at.
I'm still here.
She's still here. We've just, honestly, we haven't really been able to work together a whole lot over the last few weeks. I just got back from a different kind of work trip in Arizona, so I've been gone for the last week. She was by herself, not by herself, yeah, the new girl, but pretty much by herself. And then even the weeks leading up to that, we've just had
It's been crazy.
So many things going on that our schedules haven't really lined up, but Nikki's still here.
If you guys are on Instagram, you should go to Instagram and find Kaylee's page and watch us shooting confetti poppers at her.
Oh.
It was my favorite thing ever.
It's going to be on your page, not my page.
Well, I tagged you in it, so won't it show up?
It doesn't. I don't know why.
Okay, well, you gotta go to my page and watch it. But it is so funny. It's kind of, there's a few curse words. She was a little scared.
Yeah.
I don't know how to cut those out.
Surprised.
I'm not that great. But it was a blast, and we have spent a little bit of time together, but most of it's been apart. And we are surviving somehow without each other.
Yeah. You sourced quite a bit last week. I was just thinking, I know you said it wasn't a lot, but you actually sourced like a full amount because I think that's where we started last week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got like 180-ish.
Yeah.
No, I got 200 last week because I was thinking this week. So I got 200 items last week, and I felt like I really failed, but I guess I didn't. So
we're still working on catching up with sourcing. We're actually doing great on everything else. Like, we're scheduled through November 23rd. So what is that, like a couple weeks from now? Mm-hmm. So we're about through, like, scheduled through the holiday, which is really nice because when the holiday comes, we don't really have to worry about setting anything active. It's already done. So we're like ahead on everything except for sourcing, which we are really behind on, but we're hoping to get back ahead. This week, next week, some stuff coming up.
We have good morning from Michigan, Wyoming. Good morning, good morning. Also, good morning, Patchwork Vintage Co. and Tanya are moderators.
Yes.
So you guys are still listed as moderators. So if any trolls come out of the dungeons, take them out.
Yeah, I forgot about moderators. It's almost been nice not being on, just to not have mean people, honestly, but we're really happy to be back on with you guys. Good morning, good morning.
If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll go over those here briefly, but it's nice for us to have a few questions in the chat so we can kind of start as other ones are coming in. So if you have any questions or comments, things that you want to know about, feel free to drop them in the comments, whether it's resale related or just life related, that's fine too.
A lot of people have asked lately in the comments on just regular videos how many we're listing per day now.
We are listing 30 a day right now, currently. We had goals of increasing that soon, I think, for sourcing and because we've got some new people taking the time to kind of slow down a little bit, get our bearings again. I know we've mentioned that multiple times. I think we'll stay at 30 for just a few more weeks before we increase, but we are at 30 currently.
Yeah, and how many do we get ready a week? Because I think that's where people get kind of confused.
So we actually get ready a lot more than what we actually are setting live. And the reason why we do that is so we always have a draft bank of items that are done or were scheduled ahead. When we were talking about having employees, one of the things we talked about was taking time off, whether that's us, whether that's them, they have vacation times. Kaylee and I are really big on making sure that we are making this an effective work environment, but also a fun work environment for them, somewhere where they can take time off and not have to worry about it. One of the reasons we bring that up, excuse me, is because we want to make sure that when our employees are taking a day off, they're actually taking the day off. It's not like they have to prepare the day before, they have to do twice as many listings leading up, they have to make them up ahead of time. By having a set amount we do every single week, that allows us to have that draft bank that we pull from when they're off. On a given week, we're at what, 225 now? That's a legit week?
225, yeah.
225.
We dropped a little bit what we were sourcing every week because we gave some more responsibilities to one of our people and we felt like it was too much. We wanted to reel back a little bit to make sure that like everything got done. But we'll be bumping that back up eventually once like everything slows down, you know, holidays are coming up. I think we'll have a chance to catch back up pretty soon.
Yeah, so we list 30 a day. If we do 225 a day,
a week.
Mm-hmm. Gosh,
if we could do 225 a day,
I'm gonna offer over here. I'll watch all the employees cringe in the background of 225 a day. No, if we do 225 a week, that essentially leaves us with like 60-ish extra at the end of each week. That is kind of extra. So essentially every week that we work, if we list 30 every day, that leaves us with 2 extra days that are kind of pushing us beyond what we're currently should be scheduling, which is going to help us get through. We've got one girl going on vacation soon. Yeah. I'm going on vacation in December. I'm so excited. I'm not going anywhere. I'm watching a dog.
I'm watching a dog.
I am. She's my best friend. Maybe if Kaylee does a live the week I'm on vacation, maybe I will stop in and show you the dog. She's very cute. Yes. She's my mom's. Her name is Chloe, and she's a cock-a-poodle or a cock-a-poodle. I don't know. Cockapoo is what they call them. Mm-hmm. They're Cocker Spaniel Poodle mixes, and she's my best friend. Like, I have a sister, but I'm pretty sure she's my favorite sister. So I will bring her for you.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So we used to, just want to throw this out there, you know, Nikki mentioned we don't want anyone, including ourselves, to have to like work extra to have a day off or worry about coming back and stuff not being done. And we used to do that. We used to, the way we would prepare is if we knew we were taking time off or somebody was taking time off, we would try to like up front just work harder the days leading up to that, and we realized like that wasn't the best way to do it. And so that's why we really focus on having a draft bank to make things less stressful.
Yeah, so imagine doing like, I don't know, let's just say like 20 a day, right? If we were listing 20 a day and we knew we were going to be off, I don't know, let's say Friday. So you have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, apparently I can't count today. Mm-hmm. So you'd have 100 you'd have to get done. Well, we're not going to be there Friday. So now that means that 20 from Friday, we would have been doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, mm-hmm. and kind of working ahead on that. But it's not just listings. It was putting stuff away. It was going sourcing. Like there's hundreds of things that happen that like at the office every single day we had to get ahead of. So we just kind of try to make plans for that. And if we know somebody's going to be off, we try to kind of knock all that out at once.
It's been better, in my opinion.
Me too.
So
I feel less stress, and it's good to be prepared ahead of time. So
yeah. Well, I see we have a lot of questions. So let's scroll to the top. I saw a YouTube question, so I haven't missed you guys.
How do you guys add subtitles? Do you type them?
I do not. I don't know how I'd find time to do that, but I basically just turn on, there's a way when you're uploading a video, if you go into YouTube Studio, you can decide the video language, and it basically auto generates for you, which is sometimes if you're not well spoken, or you're not articulate, or you're not concise in what you're saying, which I'm faulted for a lot of the time. It'll just auto generate what it thinks it hears, but I mean most people are going to be able to muddle through that. But the automated captions are actually pretty good, so I just do it on YouTube Studio. I don't type them out, I just let them auto generate.
My favorite is when it puts Kaylee as Kaylee. I love it. I think it makes I haven't looked to see what it puts my name as, but it's fine. I'm gonna check it out later. I guess I'm gonna change this a little bit. It says how to make a lot of sales as a newbie on Posh, but tips to start a successful Poshmark. What would you say are your tips for successful Poshmark?
I would say it's almost the same as everywhere else, which is you've got to be consistent. You have to do your very best to list an equal amount every week, and if you can, every day. So if you know that you only have time to list 20 items a week, spread that out over every single day. Keeping activity going within the platform every single day is what really helps boost sales on any platform, really. And then specifically on Poshmark, you do have to share your items, which basically brings your item to the top of the feed. So when buyers are searching for something, it's automatically sorted by just shared. So if you are not somebody who has recently shared your item is going to be bogged down in search, even if somebody is looking for that exact item. So you want to make sure to share pretty frequently. I recommend, especially if you have a small closet, it only takes like a couple minutes. It actually probably takes less than that now. They have the bulk sharing feature. I don't use that. We use something that shares for us. But even if you're doing it yourself, if you've got a small closet, it should only take a couple minutes. I'd recommend doing it multiple times a day. I usually do, when I was doing it myself, I would do like Monday, morning, lunch, dinner. So like 3 times a day spread out. You can do it more than that, but I would say at least once a day. But just keep constant activity in your store. Focus on listing quality items, but focus on doing that every single day if you can, if not a few times a week spread out.
Ditto.
You got, okay.
Yeah, I was going to say availability, make sure you're available, make sure you're consistent, and then make sure you have good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more
It's that simple
to the point with that. But hello from South Carolina. How do you guys determine price and whether or not you'll accept best offers? I'm just gonna give you like Cliff Notes version because we do have whole videos on this that you can totally go into if you want like detailed explanation. But the biggest thing is gonna be kind of taking an average of what the prices of things are. The exact same item is on eBay, and kind of what has sold. So we filter to pre-owned if it's pre-owned. We filter to sold, and then we take an average of kind of what is listed there and try to shoot for roughly about the same price.
I think people think that we're finding the exact same item every time.
No.
That is not the case. We are just being
getting
as close as we can. Like if we've got a J. Crew red long sleeve top with a cowl neck, like that's probably how we're searching it. It's not very often with those kind of brands that we are finding the exact same style and the exact same size, but we are trying to get stuff that's relatively similar and going from there and focusing, like she said, on an average on that. And that's with a good sell-through rate. If it doesn't have a good sell-through rate, then we are pricing a little bit lower so that ours moves faster than everyone else. Was best offer part of that question?
Yes. Or how do you decide whether or not you'll accept best offers? I don't put best offers on anything. Nothing. Unless I feel like it's super rare and I'm not super confident and I like price really high and then accept offers.
Yeah, if we're not sure of what something is, that's when we'll use best offer, and we'll just let the market decide. And that's all on eBay for anybody listing on Poshmark, but like offers are turned on automatically. You're going to get offers, so we usually add a few dollars on Poshmark for that reason. So that's the Cliff Notes version. We do, if you go back on my channel or if you just search Kaylee Elaine pricing strategies, there's a live we did a couple months ago where we go into great detail about that, and some people asked some really good questions during that live that would probably help you out, but we go into some pretty thorough detail there. So look up Kaylee Elaine pricing strategies.
Patchwork Vintage Co. wants to say congrats on your sales record and YouTube subscribers.
Oh, thank you.
If you guys haven't seen, Kaylee hit 15,000 YouTube subscribers. Literally, like when were we in Houston for Posh Fest? It was like a month ago.
I was just about to say
14,000 like actively. I have a video that we are eventually going to share with you with our good friend Betty, and we like hit 14,000. She was our 14,000 subscriber, and literally a month later we've got up another 1,000. When I started I guess it's been almost 2 years ago.
A year ago I hit 5K.
Yeah,
a little over a year ago. I posted about it on my personal profile. Yeah.
So in say a year-ish,
I think it was July.
10,000 people. That's insane.
Yeah. I was reflecting on that this weekend once I hit 15K, and I was like, what time frame was it when I just hit 5K? Because I told everybody once I hit 5K, that's when I would like tell my friends and family, like people that I know in my personal life. And I was like, oh yeah, I posted about that. So I went back and looked and I was like, I think it was July last year. And I was like, oh my God, it's been only about a year. That's like crazy.
It's insane.
But thank you.
Carol says, do you guys promote all your listings or do you use the suggested percentage if you do?
I've actually been getting this question a lot. I'm not sure why. It's been coming up a lot.
I don't promote anything.
Yeah, so I've played around with promotions before. I've played around with promoted listings. I used to promote everything at a very small percentage. Lately, my mindset has been if it's a good item, it should sell without being promoted. So why would I spend that extra money? Because if it's a really high quality item, people are going to find it anyways. So we don't promote anything when we start. After 90 days is when I start dropping items, and I've explained why 90 days before. But after 90 days, we start price dropping to get the items to move, and that's also when I'll look at possibly promoting items to get them to move as well. Lately, I've been pulling, what is it called? Quality listings report on eBay. There's a report you can pull that will actually suggest to you why your items might not be moving in certain categories or what you're doing right, what categories you're best at, and etc. On that report, a lot of the times the suggestions are, let's say, women's tops, and this is just an example. This isn't like accurate information. I'm just saying this is an example of what it might say, is like if the category was women's tops and I was performing poorly in that, it would give me 2 suggestions. And one of those is usually like 90% of items that sell in this category are promoted at a 7% promoted listing rate. So then if those items still haven't sold, I'll go in and I'll bulk select all of those women's tops and I'll promote them all at 7%. And I'll just follow that quality listing report because, I mean, eBay's pulling all that data for me. I don't know why I wouldn't listen to that. And at 90 days, we're trying to flush items out. Like at that point, we're like, get it out of here because it's been sitting too long. Something's wrong. It's a bad item. We priced it incorrectly. It needs to drop, or there's something wrong with the listing. So we drop prices, we do promotions, and we try to flush them out. And it's been a pretty good strategy lately. Nikki's pointed out, there's a couple things that are more seasonal that we probably should be waiting on price dropping on. We haven't quite figured out a strategy for that yet, but we are talking about that. But as far as just flushing those everyday items out, it's working really well.
Carmen wants to know, how do you schedule ahead on eBay? It's literally in your listing. So if you just are filling out your listing as usual, you'll get to like a little spot that says like or like not schedule, but when do you want to like set live?
It's right by the price.
Yeah, it's right around the pricing area. If you click on that, then it's going to say like list now, or it'll say schedule for a later date, and then you can select. I think it's like up to 3 weeks. I think is what we found out, about 3-ish weeks that you can schedule. It does cost 10 cents per listing, but honestly, if like say Thanksgiving's coming and like you want to take time off or whatever, you could do that even just for that week. However many you list, it's definitely worth it. I mean, you think about it, it's cost us what, like I said, 10 cents a listing. It's not like it's anything crazy. A couple bucks a day to just take that off your plate and not have to worry about it. So you can also do that on Poshmark with drops, and it does not cost any money.
Yeah,
on
it's
Posh.
free.
Yeah.
You can also bulk schedule.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Just wanted to throw it out there. If you have ever used the bulk editing function on eBay, that's what we use to schedule. So like if you bulk draft, which is kind of what we do, we bulk draft, let's say you bulk draft 100 items in a week, and you want to spread them out and schedule them out for the following week. You just divide up however many you want. Let's say, this isn't accurate information, but let's say 15 a day. You can bulk grab those 15, hit edit, it brings them into the eBay bulk editor, and then from there you can click all of them and bulk edit the start time and schedule them all at once, which is what we prefer to do. And once you schedule them, I'll just let you know they do come out of drafts and they go into listings, scheduled listings. So just want to throw that out there because if you've never scheduled before, you might be like, oh crap, where did my draft go?
Nikki says, I've learned so much from you all. My sales have gone up since being more intentional when sourcing. So thank you.
Awesome.
Find Joy here says, I'm so impressed with your sales. Way to go, ladies. I do have a question. I cannot seem to understand closet clear out. After you said you noticed a spike in sales, I tried it. It does seem easy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how you're doing closet clear out, but for us, we use Posh VA, which is an extension. So I just tell it to drop prices for me during the closet clear out. If you're doing it manually, that might, like, it might be taking you a long time, and that might be why you're not seeing, like, I guess, results right away. But regardless, closet clear out, we only do on items that are older, and we drop prices for them. And usually when stuff's selling during closet clear out, it's basically like clearance for the buyers, the way we do it. They get discounted shipping and it's like a clearance item. So I think that's why it works so well for us. I choose to only drop prices during that time on things that are 90 days or older, and it flushes out a lot of those older items. But I think it works so well for us because we're okay with taking less, because we're trying to move those items. I would just say, like, don't just give it one try and, you know, maybe you don't see success. Try it again a couple times. Probably not like back to back, because if buyers don't buy it the first day, they're probably not going to buy it that same weekend. But I don't know. I don't know why it's successful for us, but not successful for other people. But I'm going to say it's probably the really low prices compared or coupled with a shipping discount.
I'm gonna rip the band-aid off. I'm the tough love giver here. So I'm just gonna say that I think sometimes people get too, I'm gonna call it butthurt. That's probably not the best YouTube word, but that's what I call it, is butthurt. About pricing. Like, we're gonna talk about pricing in just a second. That kind of leads into the next thing that's coming. If you list an item for $25 and somebody offers you 20, is it really a make it or break it for you? I think sometimes you need to make that decision. When I started, I had a really hard time with letting anything go. I'm like, no, you can't. No, this isn't happening. But like, you have to at some point let it go. Whether you let it go for $20 today or you let it go for $20 in 5 months.
Yeah.
You have to let it go at a certain point. So I think you need to have a sit down, tough conversation with yourself. And I think you need to say, hey, this is what I have. I'm going to agree that every month, you know, or every item I have, I'm going to take at my minimum percentage off when somebody does an offer is X. My maximum amount on each item is X. And you need to have a realistic conversation with yourself. Let it be cut and dry. Don't get hung up in the weeds. It's better to just sell it, flush it, move on, especially if it's an older item. Cut your losses. Like, I don't know how many things I've seen leave here for like $20. We sold a Burberry shirt that had been with us forever for like $25. And I was like, oh my God, we had that marked for like $50, but we didn't sell it. So, you know, what's the point? At this point, we paid maybe $5 for it. It's better to make $20 off of it than to make nothing. So,
it's a good point. If stuff isn't selling during a closet clear out when a buyer has a really big incentive, it's probably priced way too high. And we've come to terms with the fact that we're, you know, if something doesn't sell, we probably did price it a couple bucks too high. So if stuff isn't selling, probably priced too high, more than likely. Or it doesn't have a good sell-through rate. It's not desirable.
Lala Heart leads us into this conversation. So I'm going to tell you guys a fun fact about me. You guys might or might not know this. I am I would say an extremely emotionally driven person. You can pick which side of that you get. You either get this like really fun and like happy-go-lucky, like loving person, or I turn into like a demonic person that wants to just eat you alive. It just depends on which one you get. Kaylee's like, this is so legit, but why are you telling people this?
I think it's funny because of what we've all been talking about as a team lately.
Yeah. But I'm very like motivated by the people that are around me. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Lala Heart.
What's her comment?
She says,
okay,
I priced a Peter Millar vest, great condition, for $35. Someone offered me $12 for it, and I felt insulted. So I'm going to tell you what I would do in that moment. And then I'm going to let Kaylee tell you what she would do in that moment. Okay.
Okay.
When I get something, no matter what it is, and I know we had another comment about what do you do with like low baller offers. So we're going to encompass both of these at the same time. Whenever I get a really low ball insulting offer, the first thing I do is turn to Kaylee and say, WTF.
Yep.
I will turn my phone off. Sometimes I throw it. It just depends. I'm like, are you freaking kidding? And I'm like ready to flip the table and like lose my crap. And I get really mad.
What is wrong with people?
What is wrong with you? That's what we say. So what the heck is wrong with people? And I go on my rant and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And I get really mad about it for probably, 15 minutes maybe? Just depends. It depends how low it is, right? If it's like $5 low, I'm
5
like,
to 15 minutes.
No. If it's like $5 for a $60 item, I'm like, no, and I get really mad. So I get really mad. Sometimes I turn my phone off. Sometimes I throw my phone. Sometimes I flip a table. It just depends what you get from me. Also depends what else is like frustrating me for the day. And then I breathe and I turn into an adult, even though I don't want to. And I'm like, okay, customer service voice, pull it together. And I say, no thanks. Or, unfortunately, we're not accepting offers on this item. Bye. Yeah. Have a good day. And I send that. And then normally that's the end of it. Sometimes they get crappy and like send a message back. And then I have to have another like 10-minute rant session. But I definitely think that you need to like take a second, pull yourself together. Every conversation that you have with somebody is a conversation, right? It's communication, it's activity on your store. So it is important that one, you respond, and two, that you respond kindly. It doesn't mean that you have to like always sell everything for really cheap. Sometimes we just send a no thanks. Sometimes we say like, no, we're not accepting offers at this time. We send offers to likers or whatever. We send them kind of this generic thing back that's on the clipboard. But have your meltdown moment, pull it together, and then be nice. What about you?
Yeah, I think it's important to note that everybody's different because there's 120 people watching right now. Hello. And, half of them might react like you. Half of them are probably going to react like me. And then, there's some people that are a little bit in between. Mm-hmm. But I think the most important thing is to know yourself and know your limits. And surprisingly, it's funny that we mentioned this, and I won't go into too many details, but I recently went to a conference and took like a work personality test. And I was like, this is so great. So I texted Nikki and I was like, I want you and all the girls to do it at the office on Friday. And then we're going to talk about it on Monday. So we're going to talk about it today. And they don't know it yet, but I actually have this plan for like a few days every week. We're going to learn about each other and each other's personality types. But I learned,
pray for them.
Not only, it's going to be good. I learned not only about myself and not only about other people, which I'd done before on personality, like work tests, but it talked about like your limits, your strengths, and then how to work with like each different type of personality. And so I just think it's really important. If you guys would like to learn more about that, maybe we'll talk about that next live because there's a lot in there. But even if you don't have a team, just to get to know yourself, like she said, she's like, I know that I'm going to blow up for 5 to 15 minutes. I work through it and then I pull it together. I'm the opposite way where I won't say I'm emotionless because that's definitely not true, but I'm the type of person that tries not to react on emotions really hard. Sometimes I get called a robot. Sometimes, it's to my detriment, but I'm the opposite where I would rather just not waste my time having a meltdown because I don't need that because I'm different. And so I have pre-written responses that when I get that, I'm just like, oh God, copy paste, done, counter offer, move on, because I want that quick, get rid of it. I don't want to deal with this. Nikki's different and she has to have that moment. And, I have to have moments on other things. So it's just really about knowing yourself. There's not really one right way to do it, but I would say that the end result needs to be the same, which is you respond professionally, even if you have a meltdown before, even if it's for a few hours, and then you come back and you handle it professionally and you move on.
Agreed.
Yep.
We have some that say hey from Michigan, hey from Minnesota. Oh, it says, I've missed your lives. Nice to see your smiling faces.
Hello. We're glad to be back.
We are. Ruth says she's been building a draft bank for Thanksgiving. That is a good call out. Make sure you guys are ready. If you guys are celebrating Thanksgiving, whether you're traveling, staying home, doing nothing, watching football, whatever it is, if you want to take some time off, Do it.
There's nothing worse than having a holiday that like most people celebrate, especially like if your family's having get-togethers and you have to work or feel like you have to slam out stuff so that you can't enjoy yourself. So definitely try to work on a draft bank if you can.
Marilyn, we typically use offers to watchers. We don't do typically like markdown sales. Do you have plans in the coming year to integrate Posh shows? Yes. Yes.
I'll
I
just
do.
tell you guys on the live so that everybody can get mad at me. But Whatnot reached out to us. This was, God, it's been like 2 to 3 weeks now. We still have not. Like, I've been approved. They pushed me through the whole thing to have my first one. It's just been far too busy to focus on anything else. We would like to try a couple Whatnot shows. We would like to try a couple of Posh shows, but I just like right now it just seems like a lot, you know? So
I literally told her, I was like, your viewers are going to eat you alive. And she was like, I know, but I did tell them that if they reached out to me, I would try it. Here's the thing I will tell you. This is not like a collab, so we can say whatever we want about them. So this is going to be your honest feedback. This isn't people who are just doing Whatnot and like getting paid to be nice to them. We're going to just do it and do it very, very open and honestly. So
to be honest, I don't really want to do live shows. It seems like a hassle, but the thing is like this is where everything is moving to. If you guys think that this is going away, it's not. Like people like live shows, people like to be more interactive, and I wouldn't be surprised if eBay starts having an interactive show someday. So like to just say I'm not going to do that, this is dumb, like unfortunately we have to move with the times sometimes, and I don't want to be left behind because we didn't try it, or we didn't get on board, or we weren't prepared in case we need to. So we are going to try it. I won't say that I'm super excited about it, but
I'm kind of excited to try Posh shows after going to Posh Fest and kind of seeing some of those. I've watched a couple in the evenings the last couple weeks. I get notified like every time they're coming live. And I think it'd be a really good chance for us to do like a thrift haul with it. What I like about Posh shows versus Whatnot is that Whatnot you have to have like a legitimate it seems like a legitimate plan. Posh, you can kind of go in and like edit and then go back and change. Maybe I don't know enough about Whatnot yet.
You can on both. Yeah.
I like kind of walking through Posh shows and seeing how that worked. But I was thinking like it would be perfect to like do a batch of photos rather than like putting stuff away, putting up a generic listing with a price before we finish everything. Give it a chance to sell with just photos before we spend all the time on the drafts and see how it works. I don't know. There's a whole other slew of things we could go into, but I'm not going to go into all that. But yes, we will probably at some point try both of them just to see what they look like.
Yeah.
I heard on another channel that the new owners of Poshmark can tell if we use a vendor like Posh or VA and will stop traffic to closets if we don't cease using a VA. Have you heard anything about this?
I've heard the same kind of rumor for like 3 years. So I'm still using it. By the way, most people use it. I'm not going to say whether it's right or wrong, but I will say that most people use it. They also used to say the same thing about List Perfectly, and Poshmark has directly come out and said if you're using a third-party service, use at your own risk. So they're more, I'm not going to say they're in support of it, but like they get that everybody's using it.
They literally invited List Perfectly to Posh Fest. So.
Oh yeah, they were at Posh Fest.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, and they like sat down and talked to them and had like conversations with them. So
yeah, so I personally, in my opinion, don't see that happening. I think people post a lot of fear-based stuff. I'm not going to call anyone out, but it's a lot of people, and I just don't pay any attention to that. If something happens and it was my choice to use, software that does stuff that maybe they do find against their terms of service and I get my Poshmark shut down, like that's the risk I'm willing to take, I guess, and I'll be okay with it if it happens because I made that risk. But in the meantime, again, I've been hearing this for years and it's simply not true, and I can't see Poshmark getting rid of, I would say, at least 50% of their like major resellers that make them the most money on the platform because they sell so much. I would say at least 50%, if not like 75% of people use services like that, and I just can't see them kicking everyone off the platform. But that's how I feel. It's a risk I'm willing to take.
Heather Love says, yeah, I caught a live. So welcome, Heather.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us. Thrift Gal says, "Hey ladies, thanks for sharing all that you do. Do you ever consider mentoring costs?" I want to do
We
this
get
so
asked
bad.
this what feels like every single time.
I eventually would like to, yes, but I don't think we're there yet.
We get asked to be paid and flown out to spend like a week with somebody. Some people want private mentorships and some people want group mentorships. I'm not going to go into details, but yes, that is something we would like to do at some point. We're just not ready. And when we do launch something like that, I want it to be, I know nothing's perfect, but like I want it to be super valuable and I want us to be able to dedicate the time and know that we're going to be able to do it without rushing every week. And because we're not there, I don't want to provide something that isn't quality, if that makes sense. So we do want to.
I'm open to flying anywhere in the United States. I have 3 weeks of vacation time. It would be worth it because I'd get paid for vacation time and I could fly and you could pay me to come. But I would say the flight has to be under 4 hours because I've learned I panic on airplanes. So maybe people that are international, I would consider after like a solid year of traveling in the United States to do it. But that's a joke. But seriously.
I just want to throw out there, Nikki's halfway serious, but
I would. But people are kind of, you gotta be,
you never know about people, so I don't want people to try to contact you and then you'd be like, I don't know. We're very cautious about safety and stuff like that, which is why I think we more prefer a mentorship type of thing.
Yeah.
But definitely, absolutely something we would like to do. We're just not there yet, and it's because we don't want to let you guys down, basically.
Hey guys, hope you're having a wonderful day. Abby, we are because you're here. We're glad you're here. So nice to catch you live. I went to Goodwill Outlet yesterday and it was so busy. We went to an outlet or bins, I guess same thing, the other day, and it was very dead and I was totally fine with it. So I used to sell online full time and stopped during COVID, but now I'm getting back into selling full time. Welcome back, Autumn's Fashionable Finds. I'm going to have to figure out this drop feature on Posh. It sounds super convenient for the weekends. Yeah, so Ruth, when you're doing your listing, you do your listing as usual, and then you get to the very bottom and it'll say like, what does it say? Additional details, and then it goes down and it says like,
oh no, it's under status. Instead of available, you'll choose drops.
Yep. So scroll clear to the bottom. It'll say available or drops. That's how you can do that.
I don't know if you can. The way we run things, we never have to use this, but I know that Poshmark started like a bunch of like bulk features. You might try seeing if you can bulk change like drops time on your drafts. I don't know if you can bulk edit drops and drafts on Poshmark. If not, they should put that in there, but you guys can let me know down in the comments. But I would just check on that because eBay definitely has bulk features to do that. I'm not sure about Posh, but they have released a lot of bulk stuff, so it might be super convenient. But otherwise, in the individual listing.
Gina, we do accept offers and we do send offers offers to watchers or likers fairly often. But we don't typically have our listings set to accept offers or like open to offers. It's just those people who like to harass you in messages and say, hey, will you take $20 for this? Sometimes we do. Thoughts on like selling platforms? We talked about those. I'm fairly new and received what looks like a bogus offer, over asking, and requested to communicate off eBay. Can I delete the sale now and not have to wait for him not to pay me? What's your suggestion? They did buy it. This is retail rescue. They already purchased it from you, over asking.
It sounds like they sent an offer over asking, which is a typical scam. And it sounds like she accepted the offer and it's pending payment. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it sounds like. But that's absolutely a scam. I personally would not cancel the sale unless you get permission from the buyer to do so. Which you could reach out and message. But I think after, I don't know, we have our set on automatically, but I think after like 2 to 4 days, you can automatically go in and if you don't have it automatically turned on, you do have to create basically a claim saying that the buyer hasn't paid, and then you have to let some time go after that for the claim to close. But I would not cancel anything because you'll get a ding on your account, but I would make sure to follow that and, track it and make sure you're doing all the steps to get that removed. But in the future, if you do get an offer over asking, it's a scam. If you get anybody asking you to take the sale outside of a platform, it's a scam.
Message you on another platform, send you emails.
Yeah. You said you were new to, we still, every now and then we do get people, especially on Poshmark, that try to scam us like that, but it happens more to newer accounts because they target newer accounts. So if you just keep going, I promise, like, eventually you'll have less and less scammers and you won't have to deal with it as much.
Sorry, I got messed up. Is closet clear outs always on Friday and Sundays? Do you know? I don't know this.
I bet you guys could tell me in the chat. I don't remember. I did a video talking about closet clear out and like everybody came and commented. I think what they said was I think it happens 3 times a week maybe. I'm sure somebody knows or after the video can comment. I think it is Friday and Sunday. I thought it might be another day, but somebody knows. I'm sure they'll comment. But it is, from what I can tell, scheduled on multiple days a week. Yeah, so somebody just said it's Friday and Sunday, so 2 days a week. I think sometimes they do it randomly, but consistently every week. And then they do the love it or list it, which is on different days as well. So you can pretty much like plan when to do it, basically.
Angela, we do not incorporate delisting and relisting for older inventory. I do know some people do to give them like new item numbers. We typically don't.
We used to.
We used to, but we don't anymore. I do know some people still do. It's totally up to you if you would decide to. And you would just kind of have to decide how long or how old you wanted your listing to be to decide to do that, if that's what you decided to do.
Tess, I have a lot of haul videos coming up. You know what I've been doing? Obviously, I've been gone last week, but as we've been sourcing, I've been trying to like bulk film hauls. There's no way I can film everything that we get because we get so much every week. But if we get a good haul one day, I usually stay like 30 minutes after our end time and just film it real quick of the stuff we got for that day. I'd like to have a more streamlined process for that, but I've got actually like 3 scheduled. So there's a lot of thrift hauls coming up.
Patchwork Vintage says everyone hit the like button. So yes, we have 136 people on. We have 34 likes. So if you guys are on, please give us a thumbs up. It is a free way to support the chat. We appreciate it. Great advice. I feel the same way about lower offers. How did you find your office space? Can you talk about that experience? It is such a whim. Like, we're from a real small town, and long story short, it was like a day process, which seems long, but in all actuality was really short. And we literally just called somebody, and I was like, I bet this is going to be expensive. And he offered us rent for half price. And we were like, what?
Both of the office, if you've been with the channel for a while, you know I used to have another office space. So this is my second office space. Both places that I got, I fell into just a lucky time and a lucky deal. And I got half price rent at both places, essentially. Was able to negotiate that. This one, I didn't even have to negotiate. It was just offered. So I got really lucky, which is why when people ask, like, how much do you pay for a leasing space? I'm like, well, you really shouldn't follow what I get because it's not going to be super realistic because real estate's much cheaper in this area than other places. Plus, I got out like half price. So it's really not going to be realistic for you. But as far as finding it, I went through, and you helped me too, through several different places where we tried to go. Like, I just went into Google and I was like, commercial space in city state, and just went through different leasing websites. You know, some places in your cities might have a dedicated
talk to realtors
place. You can contact realtors. I've had success before also just searching office space or office lease or warehouse on Facebook Marketplace. But honestly, both times we just saw a sign.
Yeah.
We were just in the same area and we saw a sign. And I think that's probably why we were able to get like a negotiable rate. is because we were dealing with more like mom and pop people, which worked out heavily in our favor.
Literally, we're driving around through our town or through our city, and long story short, we start seeing these places, and I'm like, oh, this is empty. I wonder who owns this. At one point, Kaylee and I are both calling our grandparents, like, hey, do you remember who used to own this old building on this road? Okay, do you have their phone number? Oh, okay, great. You got their wife's number? Okay, do you know if they're home today, or are they still at their job over on this road? Should we just stop? Like, we say small town, we mean small town. We literally were calling our grandparents, like, hey, you remember old Billy Joe Bob on 2nd Street or 29th Street or whatever? I'm like, can you help us? And it's funny how stuff works.
We got really lucky though, is all I'm gonna say. But I was searching all of those sites, and to be honest, before that, other than searching for apartments, which I just always went on like apartments.com, realtor.com, I had never had experience looking for office space or any kind of commercial space. So I literally just went on Google, Facebook, and just search stuff. But again, we ended up falling into some lucky things just by driving around and seeing a sign, calling, getting in early. Like, it was just the right place at the right time.
Hannah says eBay has started doing lives.
Oh,
I didn't see that yet. I think we need to start one thing at a time. I can't commit to doing 3 different things, but I definitely, if that's the case, which I trust you, Hannah, I think we should do a video on comparing Whatnot lives to Posh shows to eBay lives. That would be kind of a fun video, I think, for people, because it's overwhelming. Like, there's so many new things popping up. What was that other thing people were talking about that we were like, I don't know about either? There was something, flips or something.
Oh. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't remember what it was called, but like, it would be cool as like a reseller to kind of have a video that really talks about each different current new like up and coming show and talk about the like pros and cons.
We did talk about Clubhouse, but that's not what we're talking about. Whatnot reminded me of Clubhouse with the hype, but we were talking about, I think it's called Flip, maybe.
I think it was Flip or Flips or Flip. I want to say Flip Coin. That's not. I think I'm thinking Bitcoin.
I think it's whatever one buyers have like consignment, and you as a seller essentially bid on that, and then they send you their product and you split a commission. But it's a way to get inventory without necessarily having to source. I feel like it was called Flip, but I mean, we're interested in all of these things, but putting the time together to do it is a lot. I think with us, what we would like to do, how we would use live shows to our advantage, is we would like to, before we process anything, try to sell it on a live first before we put the work in, and then whatever doesn't sell, then put the work into. Like, to me, even if I'm selling it at a slightly lower cost, if it's moving quicker and I don't have to put in the work of like a total listing, total process of measuring and dealing with questions and like, you know, all that stuff, to me it would be worth it. And that's kind of where our mindset is at, is we would like to find a way to, like she said, essentially do a thrift haul before stuff gets processed, sell that stuff off, and then whatever's left, get onto a platform. Good morning, everybody.
Sorry, I'm writing myself a note so I remember that video thought process. How many items do you list a day? We do list 30 a day. That is every day of the week, including weekends. Autumn, I think you might have missed it, but we do schedule them via eBay, just like scheduling. It does cost 10 cents a piece, but we do schedule them. That way we aren't like logging in on the weekends and doing it actively. For a small seller, what would be a good goal to list per day? I started 3 months ago and have just over 300 listings. I broke 100 sales a few days ago. That's great. Congratulations. I don't know that there's a set number you need to list per day. It's just listing every day. If you in your area can get 20, great. Spread it between all 7 days. If you can get 100 a week, great. Spread it between all 7 days. Just depends on your area and what you can find as far as good items and what you're actually capable of putting out. I would just make sure that you spread it between all the days of the week to make sure that you're keeping consistent with your listing.
Yeah, and I would make it realistic too. Like, maybe keep track for the next 4 weeks on average what you bring in. That way you can tell yourself, okay, this week I got 50, but this week I got 20. On average, I'm able to bring in 30 items a week. And that way you can set a goal. Okay, source 30 items, more if you can, but source 30 items, list 30 items, and you can kind of plan. I'd also recommend something we strongly believe in is timing yourself. So time how long it takes you to list something, and then you can kind of fit that into what your schedule is to have a more realistic idea of what you're capable of. But consistency is definitely better than, consistently listing a small amount is better than waiting a week, listing 50, waiting a week, listing 20, waiting a week, and but yeah, not one thing. I would say do what's realistic. Start with 2 a day. If that's easy, bump it up to 3 and move up with small increments as you can. If it starts to get hard, stay there for a while.
Autumn says, what is the best day for you to go to the Goodwill bins? What's your favorite day to go binsing?
Do you know the answer?
Never.
I don't know why.
If you have to pick a day, you can't say never.
Let me just say that this is not like, I know this isn't the word issue. This is not scientific. This is not backed by data. But I prefer going on Thursdays, and I would say it's probably different for every location. So just because I like going on Thursdays does not mean that every Ben's location is going to be good on a Thursday. Something that I'm really happy to have Nikki on the team with is she talks to all the employees, like everybody. She talks to the customers. So she knows, she'll ask them when their trucks are, when they bring new items in. She'll literally ask them what's the best day to come in. And so with that, we've found some strategies, but just, I don't know, Thursdays have been really good for us.
Thursdays are my favorite day to go to the bins, but that's just because nobody else goes. So if you guys all know where we are, which we're not going to talk about it, we're not going to put it in the chat, we're not going to go from there, other than Ohio. If y'all end up going to the same bins as us, and you all start going on Thursdays, I'm going to be really sad, because that's my favorite good day to go, because I like virtually run into nobody, and like it's very quiet and peaceful. But
we don't always get to go on our favorite day, though.
Yeah.
So if you're coming on Thursdays just to see us, I don't want you to be disappointed. We often don't get there on that day.
I try to, but I don't know. That's my thing. Thursdays, that's it.
What is your favorite day?
Yeah, Autumn, tell us what your favorite day is to go binsing. Little Miss Nat's here. Oh my God. Hey. I love you. Like, I don't even know. I met you and Tammy in Houston and at Posh Fest, and like my heart has been so fulfilled since then. I'm just so happy, and
a lot of really great people. I feel like we spent the most time with Tammy and is it Natasha or I couldn't remember if it was Natasha or Natalie. I just know her as Little Miss Nat.
I just love you guys. So it's, I don't know. I just had to tell you that I love you. I'm doing a Posh show. Tony says I'm doing a Posh show November 19th at 9 p.m. So if any of you guys want to get on, Tony, his chat is Tony by Design. Everybody get on and support Tony on their very first live chat.
Central Time.
November 19th at 9 p.m. Central Time. They are excited. So maybe I'll try to join you. I don't know. That's my birthday, so I don't know if I'll have plans or not. But maybe I will get on.
Okay, guys, we are almost an hour in, so we're gonna blast through the chat.
I can't talk today either.
I know, I'm just so tired. I got in really late last night from my trip, so I'm here trying to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But
I'm a breaker today.
It ain't happening. I need like another coffee.
That's fine. We'll get coffee.
Okay. But if you guys have questions, please put them in the chat because we are about to end this live, and I don't want to miss your question if you have one. Do we have any more?
Angela says she has a hard time shopping because she doesn't have the attention span to watch the entire Posh show. I can see that. Some people, I think, don't just scroll and not have to like actively pay attention. That's one thing I don't like about shows is that you have to kind of actively pay attention and it's like a bidding war all the time, which is kind of cool, but like I get it too. I like to shop and be able to like stop, go do something else, and then come back to it. So I could see that being an issue.
Yeah, I think if we are doing it, we've already decided we're gonna have 2 people. We have, Nikki or myself like dealing, typing, paying attention to offers and everything. and then we'll have one person actually physically showing the items. And so with 2 people, I think we've decided we'll be pretty quick with shows.
Yeah. Lorraine O'Neill wants to know how successful you feel offers to watchers is for you. There's obviously lots of different opinions, and she would love to hear yours.
Extremely successful. I just want to clarify, just to make sure that I'm understanding your question, and also for anybody in the chat, I just want to clarify, I think people get confused with offers on eBay. There's best offer, which is a part of your listing. You can set something for $25, or best offer, which means anyone at any time can send you an offer. And then there's offers to watchers, which even if you don't have best offer turned on your item, if someone is watching your item, you can send them a 10% off, 20% off, whatever you want on your item. And so those 2 things are different. And again, it doesn't matter if you've got best offer turned on. You can send offers to watchers if people are watching your items and they're already interested in the item because they watched it. So the idea is you're sending them an incentive and trying to capture that sale really quickly. So I don't have set times every day, but I would say at least 5 times a day I send out offers to watchers on eBay. I try to capture it as close as I can, and I just send them in bulk. It takes me 2 seconds. I actually filmed, again, it took a couple seconds. I filmed a couple days ago. I haven't launched it yet on YouTube, but of me just going in and sending bulk offers and how quick it is. But if you have, 40 listings eligible to send offers to watchers, you can filter to that. It's a 1 click. You just check all, you hit send offer. I personally do 10% off of everything because I feel like we're priced pretty fair as is. And so 10% to me is that additional thing that I'm comfortable with, just a blanket offer that no matter what, I'm going to be okay with. So I just send out 10% offer to everything, instead of going individually and worrying about each item and sending individual offers. But it's super successful. It's almost mindless for me now. I just go through and do it. But it's super easy. So I would really recommend picking, Nikki kind of mentioned it before, what is the minimum amount and what's the maximum amount percentage wise.
You're willing.
I think too often we focus on one item. If you're someone who is okay, I got an offer for an item, and you check how much you paid for it, that's not good. That's a problem, because it shouldn't matter how much you paid for an item. It should matter what it's going to sell for. So something, just to keep in mind. But I personally send out 10% offers to watchers, but I'm pretty comfortable with our pricing. And so 10% off to me is enough of an incentive, but we've been really, really successful with it.
Lomas Nat says, I found some goat and ostrich Lucchese boots.
Ooh.
I'm hoping to list for 200. Should I ship them regular? I don't know. I like to ship those things with a signature, required signature, just so you know that they actually get them in case somebody comes back and does something fluky. But
I think, did we sell those? We've sold 1 pair of Lucchese boots. I thought those might have sold on Posh though.
I don't remember.
I don't know. If it were me, if you were selling them on eBay, I would probably add signature confirmation, and I do that with sales that are higher priced. On Poshmark, you can't really do that, but I feel like Poshmark protects their sellers pretty well. We usually wrap in tissue paper and cover with plastic to protect from rain, but I would definitely put some extra love into it, that's for sure.
We do not do liquidation. I'm gonna bust through some of these because we got a lot to go.
Okay.
We do not do liquidation. We typically source at thrift stores or bins. We do sometimes get reached out by, or get, I guess, contacted. Reached out, it's just not right. We do have people that do reach out to us and ask about us buying things off of them. We do not do any form of consignment. We would only actually outright buy things and then flip them and sell them.
Mm-hmm.
We also clean out our closets a lot because we kind of hoard stuff and bring those in. But generally, other than maybe yard sales, estate sales, things like that, it's pretty much 99.9% of it is thrift stores or the bins. What is your favorite platform to sell on? Go. Don't overthink it.
I like eBay for the amount of users they have because they get more sales on there. I like Poshmark for the ease of use.
Posh. I'm a posher.
We sell on both, so.
Maposher. It's my favorite. Shipping for the win. We already talked about sales day, thrift videos, check out haul videos. Patchwork Vintage Co. says that she does not think that eBay does the unpaid item anymore. It just says to cancel if they haven't paid after 4 days. I do think that there's an option you can click now that says don't, like, buyer did not pay within 4 days. I think it's like a cancellation reason now.
Yeah.
Seeing what you pick up. I'm sold here, Chicago area. Gross 100 after 3 years. Thrifting here is good. Typical 50 to 70 items per store. We might have to go to Chicago.
That's awesome.
I love the small town connections. You right. Heart on fire. Somebody from Las Vegas. eBay lives are in beta testing. We'll have to test those out.
I see a lot of people commenting both positively and negatively on live shows. And just, again, guys, we don't want to be left behind. So even if it is a pain, we're going to do it because we want to have sales. And if this is the way buyers want to shop and that's where things move to, again, we don't want to be left behind. So we're going to try some of that stuff out.
Jessica, we do have a price range. Our price range is typically 5 into 25, 10 into 40, and then obviously up from there. But we always have to make sure we have X amount we can always make on each item. I think everybody should have a limit for themselves. You'll pay so much to make so much. I think everybody needs to have that just to kind of keep yourself honest in the thrift store or wherever you're sourcing. I do think there are exceptions to that, but I think for tenfold, you kind of need to have an idea.
I think in addition to that, coupled with that, you need to have an expectation for what you want your sell-through rate to be as well.
Let's see. I'm excited to work with eBay behind the defense tomorrow on the future of eBay live auctions. Keep us posted.
Yeah, let us
sunny
know.
Las
That's
Vegas.
interesting.
Cha-Ching King says that they try to list a certain dollar amount, but not a certain number of listings each week. That's a cool concept.
We've kind of looked at that before too. Nikki mentioned, she was like, well, I didn't get as much as last week, but then earlier she was like, we didn't get a lot of stuff, but I got some good stuff. And so I've kind of been thinking about weighing that out, but I think it's just easier for us to focus on a quantity.
I think it is too.
That's how we've been able to grow too, is like we don't focus on the dollar amount. We focus on a quantity and it just ends up working out in our favor. But I would agree, like you have to weigh that in too.
If you cross post, are you first creating the item on eBay and then importing them for Posh? Yes. So we start on eBay, we cross post a list perfectly, and then we use list perfectly to send to any other platforms we would want to. Primarily that is Posh, but sometimes it's Depop or Mercari, just depending on what it is. But yes, we start on eBay, move to list perfectly, and then wherever else.
There's so many ways to do it on list perfectly. It's kind of like a little reseller playground. You don't have to do it that way. You could go directly from eBay to Poshmark, Poshmark to eBay. You could start your listing in list perfectly and then go to eBay into Poshmark. It's kind of whatever you want to do. We, in the past, used to start in list perfectly and then spread it out. For other reasons, we chose to change it. But I just want to say that there's not one best way to do it. It's whatever is best for you.
Jesse, if you already have listings on eBay and Poshmark and then you start using the list perfectly, those old listings are still going to be there. The only problem is they won't be on list perfectly. You would have to, what we did when we started is we went to eBay and everything we had on eBay, we cross posted over to list perfectly. It is super easy. It's literally one click. You can take a chunk of items to cross post over. You don't have to click anything. You literally just select all that you want to cross post, select list perfectly, and hit copy, and it'll do that all in the background for you and open up all the tabs. You don't have to click anything else additional on those. That's what we did. As far as Poshmark, you could also cross post again the opposite direction if you wanted to. It honestly just depends on you and what you're wanting to use list perfectly for. But if you're wanting to use list perfectly as like your catalog holder on how to find everything, you might want to think about cross posting.
Yeah, I would recommend, I have a video on that. I think it's titled like I'm moving all of my listings to list perfectly or something like that. But we had to make a decision, like she was talking about, of how we were going to do it. List perfectly suggested to me, I just want to make this clear because I don't want you to think you can cross post Like, here's eBay, here's Poshmark, here's List Perfectly. I don't want you to think you can import both and that they're going to merge, because they won't. What we did is we imported the eBay listing because that had the most information. And then from that point, you either have to decide, am I going to go through every Poshmark listing and add in the item number to the List Perfectly listing manually? Or am I going to delete everything on Poshmark and then cross post it over so that List Perfectly knows for one listing those two links? So unfortunately, there is a little bit of a disconnect with that. We chose to just go ahead and delete all the items because we thought we'll just have fresh listings, and it worked for us. Now, we had thousands of items. If you don't have that much, it's probably going to be much easier for you. So you might consider going in and manually putting in those links, but I just don't want you to think that you can merge them into one.
I lied. Lori's story says, I keep wondering how eBay's fees are lower than Poshmark's, since eBay charges their fees based on the buyer's total cost, including shipping and taxes. What are your thoughts?
eBay is typically cheaper than Poshmark. As long as you're not doing like promoted listings and additional subtitles and like all those add-ons that really raise the price, eBay, depending on the store subscription you have, which you might want to look into because your fees start to lower as you pay for a subscription, and it might actually be more financially beneficial to you to have a subscription based on those fee amounts. But Poshmark's 20%. That's the highest of any platform that I know of. eBay, I think it really depends, but I think it's about like 10 to 12%. And then anything additional over that might add to it if you do promoted listings and stuff like that. But it definitely, in most cases, is less than 20%. And also, something people don't think about on eBay is you get a shipping discount as the seller. So you actually recoup some of that money back. So a buyer might pay $10 to ship an item, but it only costs you $8 to ship it. You get to keep that little bit of a discount, and it really helps to, in my opinion, recoup some of those fee costs back.
Peanut Corner says that they would go to the bins every day. Just be very selective as to what you get. There are a lot of people in our area that do go to the bins every single day.
It can be a really great strategy. You don't find as much higher dollar items, but you only have to go to one place and it's super cheap. And in my opinion, sometimes getting items for super cheap, even though they don't sell for as much, is more beneficial.
Autumn said her favorite day is Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Yeah, it's funny how we all have like our own favorite days. Genesis, it's nice to meet you as well. Thanks for getting on.
We met her at Posh Fest too.
She said she's got a place for us in San Francisco when the time comes. She's ready to go.
Yep.
I lost my spot. Sorry, guys. The bins is where I go is very busy all the time. I wish it was less competitive. Also, there are only clothes, shoes, and linens. Ours has mostly lately been switching to like having more hard goods than what they do clothes. Honestly, it's made it really tough for us as well, but I don't know if that's just a fluke or what's going on.
Ours were really busy all the time, and they have recently, they stopped doing as many rotations. They like cut it in half, and now everyone stopped going. So it does change too sometimes.
Kaching King wants to know what your most recent favorite find is.
Oh.
You can pick two because I have two in my head right now.
Guys, why do I always forget the luxury brands? We literally just picked this up and I just sent it to okay. No, I got one.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we were thrifting at a regular Goodwill and I came across this bag that wasn't priced up and I was like, that looks like some high quality leather. So I looked at the tag and it said it was Balenciaga, which is a luxury brand. And I was like, there's no way this is real, right? Because we see that store does like fake Coach purses all the time, fake Kate Spade, and they're selling it. And like, you can clearly tell they're fake. And I was like, if they price fake stuff up, surely they would have caught this, right? But it really depends on the employee that's putting it out. So I got this Balenciaga bag. I, looked into trying to authenticate or whatever. I couldn't really tell but I thought it was worth risking the $5. So I picked it up and I wrapped it up and sent it to Real. I didn't feel comfortable listing it on a platform because I wasn't 100% sure. And usually with luxury goods, we send it into the Real. And Balenciaga is one of the brands that they accept. Well, I sent it in and I kind of forgot about it. Well, then I got an email that it was listed and sold immediately. And it sold, was it $585?
Yeah.
Yeah, $585 on the Real, and I got like 280 something.
It was almost 300, I think.
And I almost left it behind because I thought it was fake. So that
made
was
$5 to throw it in the trash to maybe make almost $300 was worth it.
Yeah, so that was my favorite recent find. We also found some other luxury wool jacket, but I can't remember what it was called, what brand it was. If anybody's watching and you were here when you guys were asking me my best bins find, and I told you it was a cashmere scarf, but I could not remember the luxury brand. I remember it now. It's Hermes, Hermes. That's what it was.
We had this conversation in the car
Yeah.
the other day. She's like, I remember now.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that was like a
It's
month
too late,
ago.
but-
Yeah.
What about
My favorite most recent finds, I'm picking two of them. I don't know why, but one I just really like because it was 100% alpaca and it had little baby alpacas on it. Kaylee hasn't seen it yet, but I'll show her today. The other thing I was really excited to find, I found double R Ralph Lauren for the first time, and I was very excited to find it. Those aren't like holy grail items, but I was also just excited to like find something that like I had known about and hadn't come across before. We've come across a couple double R's, but Kaylee normally finds them. I found it at the bins in a new bin that everybody had already picked over and walked away, and I was very excited for it. So
yes, Balenciaga in Ohio. You know what? I'm not going to tell you which store it was because not for competitive purposes, but we just are very careful about letting people know where we are. But the place I found it is not a place that's, I mean, it's nice area, but it's not super high end. It's not where you think you would find a Balenciaga bag. That particular store have been where I found the most luxury grails.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I found some pretty good stuff there too.
I found a really nice, do you guys remember, if you've been watching for a while, if you're like the OGs, that $800 Burberry coat that I found was at that location. I found Balmain, however you pronounce it there. It's Valentino, that's the name of that little jacket.
They're my sweater holy grail place.
Yeah, surprisingly. You never know.
Megan, there is a video about eBay shipping at some point. I'm not sure exactly where that is.
There's a couple videos. If you look up Kaylee Lane eBay shipping, there's two. One's shorter but not as detailed, and one is longer and way more detailed. If you're like a beginner, I would start with the longer one. Again, it is long, but it's super detailed, and I go through everything and show you screenshots.
I think eBay will continue to give you viewers as long as you respond. I don't think it matters if you accept them or decline the offers. I think it's more about responding to the offers one way or the other, or like responding to messages and stuff. So I would make sure that you keep active. It doesn't mean you have to accept like every lowball offer. I don't think it makes a difference as far as traffic. I think what really determines traffic is just that you're responding in some way. Sorry.
You're fine.
Little Miss Nat, thank you for sharing videos on all the things we were talking about. I appreciate it.
Yes, that's so helpful.
What do you think is the most important thing you can do on Poshmark to increase sales? We talked about this morning, mom teacher lessons. I would definitely scroll back to the beginning, but Cliff Notes versions, pick up good stuff, be consistent, and be available to constantly work your business. We can't get them cheap enough to do live sales, but kudos to those that have bins near them. I love live shows and have tripled my sales. Congratulations.
Yeah, what works for some doesn't work for others, right? So I see a lot of hate on live shows, which like, I agree, it's kind of discouraging when you watch some creators like completely go to live shows when they used to be, you know, your favorite creators for eBay and Poshmark, and now they don't do it and you feel bummed. I don't foresee that happening on this channel, but I will just say, like, one way is never the complete right way to do it. You have to be open.
I think it's going to be
everything.
versatile.
Yeah.
Have a little bit of both. I still see us completely like listing things online as well, like normal, like we have. And I could see us, maybe doing a live show like once a week or maybe every couple weeks just to like test it out, but definitely not going to be super dependent. I grew so fast that I somehow ended up with over 2,000 items and no inventory system. Sweaters together, jeans together. Yes, I use list perfectly to cross pose, but it's just a daunting task. 2,000 items across 5 platforms. That's a lot. I would literally
need to spend a whole week and just get it done.
Yeah, I would stop sourcing for a couple days, spend some time, get to a good point where you're listing things still, maybe get like a draft bank, spread it out for a little bit of time, and then spend some time getting your processes right. If you have some friends, Arena, maybe have like a mom wine and fix things night.
Yeah.
Bring some wine, invite some friends, and say, hey guys, I need some help. Can you guys, help work through this? Pizza and wine. Yeah. Sounds good.
I didn't wait till that long, but I definitely I think I was close to 1,000 by the time I got a good inventory system. I used to do the same thing. It was like women's long sleeve tops tote, women's short sleeve tops tote, and then it was 2 women's short sleeve tops tote, and I was like, oh my gosh. And definitely you want to get that handled now.
Sunny, I have a love-hate relationship with Mercari. I think there's a lot of things that they could do to make the platform better, but it seems like you're right. They put like a blindfold on and they just see what they want to see and they don't want to take feedback. So I'm not surprised that they didn't want to talk to you about shipping costs. Bye, Tanya. We missed you. Have a good day.
Bye.
Posh Fest, was it worth it? Yes. I had an amazing time, more so than what I thought I was going to. Everybody was really nice. It was nice to network with people, talk to people, meet some of our subscribers. And honestly, there were things that I learned. I did tell Kaylee that I wish they would have done like a amateurs versus like advanced kind of separation, had like a class for each.
They did on some breakouts, but not all of them. Yeah. Guys, I still have the footage from Posh Fest. At this point, I'm like, is it even worth it? It's been
we need
so
to post
long.
it. I have so many selfies of us and so many videos of us on the plane and in the car.
Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put like our trip together, and then at some point maybe we'll do like a different video that's like a takeaway video, because I want to go over that Google Trends that we learned. That was really helpful.
Found a 100% cashmere pantsuit, freshly dry cleaned at the bins. Ooh. I just found an Hermes tie at the bins. I was very excited.
Awesome. That's a great brand to sell.
Gosh.
That's one too, like you pretty much know if it's real or fake. So I personally feel comfortable selling that brand on eBay. We are coming near an end, guys. So if you have a question, better drop it now.
Found a Dior lace trim slip at the bins this past Saturday. $2.20 a pound.
Ooh.
I worked 4 years at the Wynn Casino here in Vegas and familiar with them with all names and then some. It was fun learning about the things to resell and work at the same time.
Yeah.
That's really cool. The private pick I had the last 2 years taught me all the high-end brands. I'm spoiled now. It's like I expect to find Helen Yarmark for $10 or Yarmac, sorry, for $10.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Question, how do you react to lowball offers? Do you ignore some, always counter, or decline? Always counter. Even if you're not in the mood.
Yeah. Even if you know that they're not going to come up, just keep countering, because it's producing activity on those platforms, and those platforms are going to reward you for being active and providing good customer service. I'm Googling Helen Yarmac right now. I know I wrote down a note so I could look it up. Yeah.
Pizza and wine may be the realest tip I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. This sounds so bad, but you can motivate me to do so many things by red velvet cupcakes, ordering me pizza, or bringing in a bottle of wine. Like, I would legitimately spend my entire week there just organizing inventory, subtly sipping wine. Like, I'd be fine. You can get all kinds of friends.
Our thing is tacos and margs.
Tacos and margs.
That makes a good day.
For some odd reason, wine makes me super sleepy. You gotta drink past the sleepiness.
Too.
I'm telling you.
She was saying, wine during inventory, and I'm like, I would literally fall asleep on the floor, and nothing would be right during inventory.
Not me. Y'all been keeping morning lives a secret. No, at Rachel, we just we suck. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. We were really doing really good with them, and then between going to Posh Fest and then coming back, things have just been really crazy. We both had some personal stuff going on too, and it's just been kind of nuts.
It's also really hard to do one by yourself. Nikki's done them by herself. She's more brave than me, but it's hard for me to communicate with you guys and keep up with the chat and not get completely lost and miss questions. So we try to reserve them for when we're together.
I just send it. I don't even care. I mean, I just tell you guys, hey, I might be struggling today. I might be a little bit behind, and I'm probably a little bit more jumpy, and you look at me like this most of the time, but I feel like you still get the info just by talking with us. So
that's where we're trying. Personality change.
I'm very spontaneous. I like to just rip the Band-Aid off and wing it. But I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
Kachin King says they were specifically hiding them from you. I like that. That was good. Yeah. The end is nigh. You're right. I found 2 Hermes silk scarves. One sold for $365.
That's awesome.
That's great. I'm not sure I want my inventory organized by a bunch of drunk women covered in pizza sauce.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I am probably the drop queen. I literally, this area of me, every time I eat, is always covered, but I would not get it on your inventory. I like clean spaces. As for drunk, I probably function better.
Yeah. Are there maybe some teenagers that that you could pay $10 to come help you or incentivize them with pizza afterwards? All we're saying is that you don't have to have a reseller help you. Anybody could help you with inventory as long as you're directing them.
What were the things you learned for full-time sellers at Posh Fest? I'd like to hear the hot keywords. Honestly,
I have one if you want me to share it. Okay, we're probably going to do a more deep dive video into this, but someone from Google and YouTube Analytics was there at Posh Fest, and I think it was the Google person, but they did Google Trends class, which I didn't know about Google Trends. A lot of people did. But you know how they have Google Images, Google Shopping? Well, there's something called Google Trends. So if you just Google Trends, you'll get to the website. But there's a way to basically search aesthetic words or types of material to see how something is doing in a trend over a span of time to figure out if that's a factor worth picking up or an aesthetic worth picking up. If you search Y2K, you'd see that it's definitely on the rise right now and it's peaked. And that was really helpful to me. And during that time, they also talked about how early you should get things listed. So Christmas stuff, the best time they told us to list was I always thought 1 month in advance. They said 2 to 3 months in advance. So
go to your local grocery store.
I took a lot away from
if they have Christmas out, it's time for you to be putting Christmas on. I was thinking bathing suits we talked about. I was thinking more April. People shop for those in February and March, and that threw me off a little bit. But as far as what I was going to say, as far as takeaways from actual things posh related, keywords, I didn't honestly take away a whole lot from Posh itself. It seemed to be more of sourcing strategies and more of things you could use for any platform, not just necessarily Posh. That's where I was kind of But I don't know who you were.
I'll just throw this out there too. This one actually is Posh specific, but there was a guy that did this class that pulled a sales report from Poshmark, which is an Excel spreadsheet.
Yes, that was good.
And he showed us how to kind of manipulate that data pretty easily in Excel to figure out more information about what items are doing best for you, how long they're taking to sell. So he kind of manipulated that spreadsheet for us, and I took a lot away from that as well. That one's just Poshmark specific.
Justine, you can totally put your email if you'd like to find an accountability buddy. I don't know if anybody in here wants to be an accountability buddy for Justine, but you're totally more than welcome to kind of pair up with people in the chat. If you find somebody that you would like to kind of make contact with outside for accountability, we're totally fine with that. I definitely think having an accountability buddy helps.
Do it soon because the chat's about to end and it will disappear.
I was trying to catch her quick. Sunny, you had me losing it. I'm more like a rock without the star. And it killed me. I was like, oh God. Are all these people new? Yeah, we all knew. All of us. I
feel like I blinked. It was 10 o'clock like 2 seconds ago. You guys, I'm glad you guys have a bunch of questions. I know we haven't been on for a while, so I expected it to be a kind of long one.
I haven't sold on eBay for approximately 3 years. I'm just starting back to it. Do you promote listings? We do not, typically.
We don't when we start a listing. We only use promotions if an item's sitting for too long and we want to move it.
Arena, that's tempting. I'm just gonna say that's tempting. Oh my gosh, this chat's killing me. I've been visiting for a while. These ladies run a real business. Oh, it makes my heart happy. It's interesting for me to hear a completely different perspective, and they know what they're doing. I think everybody knows what they're doing. Like, honestly, I like talking with you guys too, because I think that you guys kind of give us a different perception of things too. And sometimes we like take some things away from it as well.
Some little nuggets here and there. An exchange of nuggets. Nugget exchange.
Yeah, my stores have Christmas up everywhere already. Us too. Been following for several months. I think someone in the chat from Kat, the Nurse Flipper Live, brought them up and have been following since. Yeah, so we are doing a live with the Nurse Flipper. It's like, let me look. I'll tell you.
It's the 22nd.
We are doing a live with her. Yeah, the 22nd. I don't know what time it is there, but for me here, it's 8 p.m. It's going to be a late one for us. So we are going to be appearing. Oh, well, Miss Nat said, don't forget to mention, we are going to be appearing with her. And it's kind of funny that you brought that up because I know a lot of people have started kind of following since then. So yeah, we're glad to hear that. Hopefully, Sunny, you have some good takeaways, and Rachel too, that you guys have an idea or have somebody of kind of accountability wise, and that you are enjoying what you're having here. It seems like you three know each other, so I'm glad that you guys are all kind of here together. We are both on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie and tell you that I have a real Instagram, but Kaylee does. You can find hers at Kaylee Elaine. Mine is just pictures of my kids and random things, so just follow her.
Thank you, Rachel. She said she just subscribed and hit the bell.
Thanks. I love it. Where do you put your keywords on eBay other than in the title? We put them in the description box. We don't typically use themes.
Yeah.
I wish I understood better. Google Trends is weird. If you search for something, it tends to give you more brands rather than keywords. We'll definitely do a kind of breakdown on learning about Google Trends because we both found that super helpful. So expect that somewhat soon. Mm-hmm. Sunny, we have no clue what we're doing either. We're really just here winging it half the time. We test things. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we revisit and revise. I think the biggest thing is being flexible.
We test it quickly, though. Just throwing that out. I think a lot of people get caught up sometimes in testing everything out. We test something. If it immediately doesn't work, we're like, okay, we're moving on.
Rachel, definitely let us know, and maybe we can do that. We'll have to keep us posted.
Is about the live.
She said maybe we could do a live with her soon. We'll keep you posted.
You can send me, if you're on Instagram, you can send me a message over there. We can talk about it.
By
the way, real quick before I forget, do you guys know on Instagram you get message requests and then you have your regular messages? I just went on and realized I had like message requests, a bunch of them from like a month ago. So if you send me a message and I'm not responding, I promise you it's not on purpose. They're just getting filtered to like requests and I don't get a notification for them, but I'm trying to be more aware of that and getting on, but I felt so bad. I responded to everybody, but I was like, I'm so sorry. I just got this, but I'm trying to keep up with it, but don't take it personally if I don't get back right away.
Yes, Scott, you like just saved my life. I don't know why I always try to say ka-ching or cha-ching king, and I always screw it up. So I'm just calling you Scott from now on. That makes my life easier. He says that Helen Yarmack has coats and jackets listed for 50 to 60,000 range. I gotta go look all those up and check all the logos and explore all those.
Isn't it crazy how as a reseller you just never stop learning? Like I've never heard of that brand. It's crazy.
He also seconds that we should go on Rachel's channel. So definitely reach out so we can make arrangements and see how that is. But yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Thank you, ladies. You've been so incredibly helpful. You two are a wealth of information. Wishing you a super productive week. You guys too. Yeah. Rachel, what is next week? We don't have anything going on crazy next week, right? She wanted to know when next live is.
I am not going to be here on Monday, but if you and Jordan would like to do one, you're welcome to.
I will do a next live on Monday. I will commit.
You might want to wait to commit to that based on sourcing this week.
Okay, I will maybe come on Monday.
Because I'm going to be gone. If she does, she knows how to, and I can help her.
I can figure it out.
Yeah, let you guys know in advance.
We can plan on doing something on Monday. It might not be super long, but I'll commit to getting on Monday, even if it's just briefly in the morning, because I think that it's important to stick to routine. So we're going to try. So Rachel, we're going to do a live next Monday, probably like half hour-ish, and we're going to commit to it. So I'm going to commit to it because Kaylee won't be here. She's going away.
Not for good reasons, though.
No. All right. Well, I'm going to cut it here because I think we're in a good place. So, and shout out to everybody giving Rachel street cred, she says. I love that. All right. If you guys are still on, make sure you guys give us a thumbs up. We do appreciate it. I will see you guys next Monday. I've already ripped that Band-Aid off. I'm committing to it. So I will see you next Monday at 9 a.m. and see you next week.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Have a productive week.
Bye.